Welcome to My Love of Life Energy. I'm Anna Scott, your host. I love beautiful, rich conversations that reveal the truth, beauty, and uniqueness of each person I meet, and I'm honored to share them with you. Good morning and good afternoon, and welcome to my podcast, My Love of Life Energy. And today I have Brownell Landrum in the house. Welcome, Brownell.
Hi,
Brownell.
Brownell. Nice to meet you. Nice to see you. I'm happy to be here.
I'm happy to be here too. So I've known Brownell for all of I think 7 minutes, and I've fallen madly in love. And she found me through what's the agency that you found me through?
A pod pitch.
Pod Pitch. So she found me and was looking for a place to speak about your book. And what's the title of your book?
The Art and Science of Wishing.
And so we're going to start there.
Okay.
And what made you tell me about this book?
Okay. Well, at first I want to be clear, I'm not a scientist. So I want to make sure people know that. I'm a storyteller, and I was writing a semi-autobiographical novel that's kind of a magical realism world. And I was writing about what I call the upstairs and how wishes, and I kind of created this realm where wishes are sorted and granted, and how all the mechanism of all that works in this kind of world. And so I was creating this, and when you're writing, you have to kind of you have to kind of do the world building, whatever. You have to kind of define things like, okay, what's this world going to look like? And then while I was writing that, I was just one night, I was listening to a lecture on neuroplasticity, because that's what I do when I can't sleep. Sometimes I listen to science lectures, because usually they're so over my head that it's like, okay, I can't only, my brain turns off and I fall asleep. But I was just kept realizing, like asking the question, like, is there science in wishing? And that led to this huge exploration and information just like going crazy. And I mean, did you realize every time you make a wish, you engage over a dozen sciences?
No. Whoa.
Isn't that
So
amazing?
that's amazing. So what sciences do I get to engage when I wish?
Oh, everything from anthropology, sociology, psychology, biology, neuroscience, even quantum physics.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really, really wild stuff. So I just got so excited about that, and that's what led me to write the book, and just dig deep into really interesting research. And I quote over 70 different scientists in the book. I mean, there's just like really, really interesting science there. So that's what led me here, and then wherever we want to go from there, however you want to
What
take
did you
the
learn about
conversation.
wishes? I'm so curious.
Well, one thing is like I said, I kind of had to establish like my parameters of what is wishing, and what's the difference between a wish, a prayer, and a goal.
Would you mind? I read them on your website, so I did some stalking on you
Okay,
too.
so you
So,
did some
but
stalking, but
I
so
did too.
for the listeners um, and viewers, basically a goal is something in your control. So it's like, I want to achieve this. I'm going to set up the parameters. I'm going to lose 10 pounds or go on this trip or whatever that is. And it's usually something you can set up your a plan to achieve. And a prayer is usually the opposite, right? It's usually something completely out of your control. You release it to some other higher power or energy, and that's kind of it. And wishes are kind of this beautiful middle ground, because they are somewhat in your control, yet there's always kind of an element that's not in your control. And one of the things that kind of the basic premises of the book is that how to turn your wish, take a wish and turn it into what I call a cosmic wish. And that's when you apply science. So the more you understand the science of wishing, the more you can bring more in your control. So that's what got like this huge like world that opened up for me as I was looking at this. And it just like so much cool science. And for me, the beauty of it, and I think you'll probably really resonate with this, is that anybody can connect with it. I mean, if you're super religious, you can connect to wishing. If you're not religious at all, then the science is probably going to appeal to you. But it's a way, I think, a really incredible way of uniting us all with the same kind of energy. And the more we can bring, I know that you probably know the quotes from Max Planck and, Einstein and some of these great scientists who said, the more we can bring these two things together, the better we'll be. and that there's not that much opposition. It's just it's our perception of that opposition. So I love the idea of like the more you understand the science of wishing, then and the art of wishing, which comes into the storytelling and all the clever parts of it. But the more you understand it, the more we can maybe get together. And the other big principle that's important is that I think we've lost our ability to wish collectively.
Yeah, I
Um,
saw that on your website. You have like wishing groups, or is that, did I see that
Yeah,
correct?
yeah. I started something called the Cosmic Wish Experiment, and with that, it's basically what I want to do is open up an opportunity, kind of a platform for people that want to start what I call a wish circle, so somebody can have a wish and then they can invite other people to join it, and there's little activities and games and points and tracking and like all these cute things that go with it, and it's really simple, it's really fun, and it's free and it follows the science.
And have you launched any of these, or have you played with people with it?
Yeah, we've got a few people getting started or getting interested in it. So it's, there are, I mean, like anything new, people are kind of like, okay, I want to do that, but I'm not quite ready, or what am I going to do with it? And I mean, I literally just, wrote the book at end of last year. So we're only in March. So it's kind of,
Oh
it's a
my
little
God. So
early.
this is brand new.
Brand new. Yeah, yeah. So it's getting, some really good interest. I've got somebody wanting to do a wish circle to make the world a better place for animals, for example. And so
Oh,
people can join that
wow.
wish circle and they can all be wishing. And the whole idea is that we use this knowledge that we have from anthropology of this history we have as humanity of these collective wishing. That, I mean, collective, these wishing rituals have been a key driver of survival since the beginning of man. People got together and wished for rain or wished for, something. And so and then generally using some kind of ritual. So that's what these groups are going to do. Like I have one that wants to use mirror as a ritual. And what that means is that every time they see a mirror or look in the mirror, that's when they make their wish. So it's going to remind them to make the
Slow
wish.
down for a second. This
Yeah,
is,
yeah, yeah.
I can feel, uh, this is an important moment, actually. I have this thing. There was this woman who was reading yesterday, and she spoke so fast that she was ahead of her genius.
Ah,
And so, what you're speaking to has such genius in it and such a healing for humanity that I want to slow it down
yeah.
because I want it to reverberate through my body.
I love that. I love that.
And so, when you said they, when you look in a mirror, they're going to use it as a mirror. Tell me more about that. But would you mind going a little slower for me, because the richness, it's like biting into something that's so delicious that I want to savor it and I want to experience all of it.
That's really beautiful. In fact, savoring is a word that I actually have been using a lot lately. Savoring is a really powerful word. It's kind of like even more powerful than gratitude in a way. Like I'm
Mm.
going to savor all the things that I have that I appreciate in my life. So savoring is a
Oh
really
my God, that's even that. Savoring is like, oh, I'm going to experience all this.
Yeah, I'm relishing it. I'm wallowing in it. I am just embracing every moment of it. Yeah, the savoring has been a really powerful word for me, especially lately. It's been really like, okay, this is going to be a really savoring moment. So yeah, I love that. Yeah, I guess just to kind of simplify again, look back at the beginning of time. There were groups that got together and they would wish for a good hunt, or they would wish for, something to happen, wish for rain or wish for the rain to stop or whatever. And people got together and they had this unity. And I think that we've lost that today. I think that we have we know what we're fighting against, but that's not the same as what we're wishing for.
Mm.
And like one of the things that, I like to kind of remind people is like Joan of Arc had a vision. Gandhi had a mantra. Martin Luther King had a dream. I mean, these were things that gave us something to look forward to that we could all unite around. And so my proposal is like, what if in 2026 it's a wish backed by science? Like, what if this is the way to bring people together?
Mm. Is that your wish?
That's my wish.
Say it again for me, please.
Yeah, well, my wish is that we would start wishing together and we would find the power that we have in collective positive wishing. I have a principle in the book and in my and in the program that the wish needs to be peaceful, positive, and purposeful.
Mm.
So I wish that we would start making wishes that are together, that are peaceful, positive, and purposeful. And I think that's going to elevate
Uh,
the energy of the planet.
so, so I'm going to invite you to do something, and I'm sorry. I'm gonna. I apologize. I might be a pain in the ass right now, but I don't
Yeah.
care.
Oh, bring it on. I honor you and I honor what you're doing. And I'm just let you tell me what you want. It's your show.
I would love to hear your wish and just put a period at the end and then pause because it's so powerful. My wish is to hear your wish loud, clear, without any run-ons, with just loud and clear.
I wish for the world to unite toward more peaceful, positive, and purposeful wishes.
You know, when I laugh like that, the energy is so liberated and so
That is the
clear.
point. That is exactly the point, is that it needs to be fun. It needs to trigger that part of ourselves. There's a lot of stuff in the book about the importance of fun and play. And that's the beauty of wishes, is they're kind of by their nature fun.
Ah, so having free energy to me, energy that's liberated, that's directional, that's expanding is fun.
Yeah.
And that's what I felt. Is that energy so liberated, so expansive, and so clear that it was like it tickled me.
And also, I get into and it kind of explain that a little bit in the book, because we need to be wishing when we're making our wishes, we need to make sure all three of ourselves are united in the wish. And that whether you use mind, body, spirit, or conscious, subconscious, superconscious, or I use inner self, outer self, higher self, but what you're experiencing is your subconscious or body is like, yes, oh my God, yes, oh my God, this is what we need. This is what, and so it's connecting on that physical type of level that so transcends the logical conscious mind, right? And the subconscious is like, yes, this is when we can start having fun together. This is the kind of energy we want for the world.
What I
And your
what the way
superconscious, your higher self is probably, having fun too. But
I loved your structure that you spoke about inner world, outer world, and high or inner self, outer self, and higher self.
yeah.
Would you talk about those three or how you define those?
Yeah. And I my first book is called Five Reasons Why Bad Things Happen. And that's where I first got really into that. And spoiler, one of the reasons why bad things happen is subconscious sabotage.
Mm.
And when I was researching that book, it was like this big revelation when I realized that the body is the subconscious.
Mm.
That was like, I mean, I wrote it 20 years ago, so that was a long time ago, but it's like, pooh, wow, all of a sudden this is a big thing. And so the way I look at it is that you have a soul that existed before you were born. That soul chooses a body and becomes you. So if your soul had chosen a different body, you would be a different person, right? But you choose that body, that situation, that family, all of those things. And so those are basically the framework of the three selves. The higher self is the soul or spirit, if you want to use mind, body, spirit. And then the outer self is the conscious mind. Um, and
Mm,
then the subconscious is the body, or the inner,
mm,
what I call the inner self.
mm. Wow, that's a beautiful distinction. How did you get interested in all of this metaphysics kind of world?
Um, it's been for a long time. I think one of the big openings that I found was Richard Bach's books.
Mm.
He, between Illusions and The Bridge Across Forever, are two of still my favorite books, probably of all time. So I think that was probably one of the openings. And then I write also fiction. I read a lot of, like, people go, well, okay, you're writing this science book, but then you also write woo-woo books about, epic reincarnation mysteries and lovers
Yeah.
reunited today to fulfill a prophecy, and it's, for me, it's like, this is who I am. And I love writing those books. And at the core, what all of them do is hopefully open people's minds, to new ideas. And whether they agree with it or believe in it or not, it's like, you don't have to believe in time travel to, like, Back to the Future, right? But it helps to kind of open your mind, thinking, what is that possibility? What would that be like? So
Wow. How did you get into writing?
I wrote my first book, that I just mentioned, the Reasons Why book. I wrote it nonfiction. And it's kind of funny because it's like full circle, because now I'm writing nonfiction again. But in between, I wrote lots of screenplays. I've written songs. I've written, no, gosh, maybe a dozen books. A lot of fiction, a lot of novels, some love stories. I have a book that I published about 6 months ago called A Love Story to the Universe. That's kind of semi-autobiographical. And that's the one that led to wishing, and the whole idea of wishing. So I didn't think I could write fiction, and then all of a sudden, once I started, I loved doing it. So
Did you always write?
I wouldn't say I was always creative in some sort of endeavor. But and I might, my undergrad degree was in advertising. So, yeah, there's writing, or in my career, corporate career was in marketing, which, is adjacent, but not like sitting down and writing a book.
Did you write these books like on the side for your
No,
career?
no, I wrote my first book, The 5 Reasons Why Bad Things Happen. I wrote it because I was going through a really difficult time. And I was like, there's got to be a reason. And I had a business that failed. I lost everything. I went bankrupt. I lost my home. My dog died. I had a relationship end. Like, all of these things happened at the same time. And I was like, there's got to be a reason. So that was the motivation of writing the first book. Is like, I just had to understand it myself. And there's kind of no better way to understand it than trying to write a book about it.
Did you wake up after that? Like you seem like a very conscious, like like you're onto you.
Oh, that's a lovely compliment. I would say that one thing that made me even more conscious, that book certainly helped a lot. Because it made me understand there's a what reason. If there's a reason, then I can get to the reason, and then you can do the reason, you can find out the why, and then you can go to the healing, and get to the lessons, and understand um, what's happening, right? So that was big. One of the things that was the biggest for me, and I think you'll like this, is a friend of mine was into the Huna religion. I don't know if you know much about Huna. Well, the one thing it suggests doing is, when we talked about the inner self, outer self, higher self, or the mind, body, spirit, it says come up with a name for your body,
Oh,
that you actually have a name for her or him, whoever's listening. And when you do that, then your consciousness expands, like, unbelievably, because when you're saying, like, okay, what do you want to do today? Where are we? when you're talking about savoring, that's when you say, okay, I'm going to give my body permission to appreciate and this. And so often our body will like sneak something bad for us to eat while we're not looking because we don't give it permission to enjoy the things that it could enjoy. So the more you really get in touch with that, for me, that was huge, getting her name and being able to have conversations with her like she's a
How,
separate thing.
how long have you had that relationship with your body?
About 20 years.
Oh,
Yeah. It's a part of that first book is that this big thing. So yeah, I think that does it.
wow, it's fascinating.
Yeah, I really recommend it. And one thing I will say though is if anybody's listening and they're trying to do this, one is she or he will tell you. Like you can't tell them what it is. They'll tell you, and it will be something you don't expect. It'll
Oh,
be,
wow.
I
Oh,
mean, you're really listening to them. And it's usually while you're in the shower or, wake up and first thing in the morning and they'll go, this is my name. And the second piece of advice is once you do, be ready to work with him or her. Because I had a friend of mine and she immediately knew the name. And then 2 weeks later, she calls me and she's like, something's going on, Brownell. I was like, okay, what? And she said, I know I locked my front door when I went to bed. And I woke up this morning and not only was the door unlocked, but it was open. And I know I set my alarm, but my alarm is getting turned off. I was like, yeah, that's her getting your attention. Like you gotta be ready to have a conversation. I know I probably sound like this weirdo, but it
no,
really
no.
is unbelievable how it works.
I um I can feel the next level of awareness. Like another, like because what's interesting when you're talking, um, the word unity came up.
Yes.
And what I kept hearing, even in your wishes, and when you talked about the three, I kept on hearing unity. There's a unification of the body, the mind, and the spirit.
Yes.
And that's that's the intention.
Right. Unity and alignment, right? Which is
Yeah.
sort of the same thing. Yeah.
Like rather than being these separate forces, they're all working in harmony together.
Or at least that's the goal. Sometimes they're not, and that's what causes some problems if they're not working in harmony. But when
Oh,
they
wow. When they are, oh my God, but wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute.
are, I'm just
What I,
adoring you, Anna.
well, it's mutual because what I'm hearing, Brunel, is that when there's problems, it's because of I'm out of unity with myself.
Yes,
There's some part of me that is not in harmony,
that's right.
that's not being honored.
And not listening. Like
Yeah.
I have a story that I tell in the book, but I had a friend of mine who was a workaholic, and it was Labor Day weekend, and she was going to work all weekend. And so she goes to get takeout food, comes out of the restaurant and trips and twists her ankle as she's in bed all weekend. I mean, that's a perfect example how your body will sabotage you if it's not in alignment.
Oh, so I have a different word for it. And this is semantics, but it's how my body will take care of me for what it really wants.
Yes, and it's also about us taking care of the body,
Right. Right.
right?
It's listening to it.
Right, it's listening and making sure because like imagine that you've got you see a neighbor and they're walking their dog and the dog runs off. What usually happens is they yell at the dog or they chase the dog, right? The dog was like, hell with that, run further. But when they go, hey, it's fun over here, the dog's going to go, yeah, okay, I'll go over there.
Oh God, but no.
And their body is the same way. Our body wants it to be fun.
Oh, Brunel. I'm so curious. Because the body, like, how do you deal with karma and that, like your perspective on karma and the history, like the junk DNA and being with that, or what's your opinion on that?
Well, it's the second reason why bad things happen, if that helps you.
Okay. I think I'm going to have to
So,
read your book.
well, I mean, I'm happy to explain it, but I don't. I think karma is basically happens as a way to teach us something. And I, frankly, the reason that the thing that all of the five reasons have in common is there's something that needs to change.
Mhm.
So if we're going down a path and we're doing harm to others, then what better way to show us what we're doing than to have it happen to us?
I what are the other three reasons? You have me so curious now. And give the name of the other book to make sure our listeners know that.
Yeah, it's called Five Reasons Why Bad Things Happen.
Okay. So the
Yeah. So
first
when people
was
say everything happens for a reason, I was like, yeah, I wrote the book on it.
okay. So what are the other three
So
reasons?
you're gonna spoil the whole book?
Well, you can't because you know what? It's like ice cream. We can give a little taste, and then you'll know you like the flavor, so you'll want to go get the whole scoop.
Yeah. Well, the five reasons are the first one, as I said, is subconscious sabotage. So it's when your body is getting in the way, something's happening, and you're sabotaging yourself because it's out of alignment, either generally with your body, but it also could be out of alignment with your higher purpose. Um, then the second reason is karma. The third reason is that there's a lesson. So karma is a lesson, right? The reason karma happens is to teach you a lesson, but it could just be a lesson. I went through a time a number of years ago where I went through this huge victimhood experience. And I got to experience like what that energy felt like. I mean, I really was deep into it. And man, that's some powerful energy if anybody's experienced it. And I know that I signed up, I want to learn this. So I want to check that box. I want to understand what it's like to be in that victim place. So that's an example of lessons. So there's a whole lot of lessons that we could be learning. And then the fourth reason is that it could be a test to see, did we learn the lesson? Like, here's a little
Ah,
nudge to see, did we check that box? Did we really learn that lesson? So I might have gotten, if I hadn't learned the lesson and been conscious of learning the lesson, maybe I would have gone through another victim thing, or maybe I have been tested with that and just passed because
oh,
I haven't found that energy anymore. Can you guess what the fifth one is? It's probably the most obvious that people would say.
because I don't. I'm so mesmerized right now. I can't even like. You have to know that I don't want to guess because I'm so loving receiving you.
Well, thank you. That's really sweet. Yeah, the fifth one is that it's a blessing in disguise,
Oh, oh,
right? That it's happening, but it's really happening. And ultimately, like I said, they're all happening to get us to change something. They're trying to
yeah.
guide us in a new direction, and get us to change something. And when we get to the why, we can get to the healing, right? And we can move past it.
It's funny. I had this insight today. I was working with a client, and we were looking at their gene key profiles, but I do psychic readings. And I thought, well, maybe the soul, the shadow, the constriction is our soul saying, I want you to get a new picture. What you're doing is outdated for what's going on, and we need something new. And I thought, well, that's cool. I don't know if it's true, but boy, when I saw that, I thought, that is so cool. And it made sense to me.
It's cool and it's kind of obvious, isn't it?
Mm,
I mean, it's kind of like, the what they call it, the brilliant grasp of the obvious, it's like, oh, that's what when I realized the body was a subconscious, like, but then it was like so obvious after that. But I mean, it is if we look at it that way and we know that this is the thing, this is happening in order to get us down another path, to learn something, to move to a different direction, then we feel a lot more empowered and less like a victim, right? I mean,
yeah.
we understand that energy. So, um, and I know you just mentioned the gene keys, and before we started recording, I told you that I started looking into that. So I'm, excited at some point to hear more about that, and have that discussion. But
Well,
anyway, just
we're
want to
gonna
plant that seed. But
we're running out of time for today. And so we talked about maybe you'll come back on and I'll walk you through the gene keys and people can learn about the gene keys and we can do it through your profile, which is magical, by the way. But Brownell, how do people find you? Because I got to tell you, I feel like an angel sat down in front of me.
No, I don't know that anybody's ever called me that.
Oh my God, I feel like this mystic being, like my wish came true.
Your wish came true. I mean, just think of the word wish. Isn't that a
Yeah.
beautiful word? Like wish. It's like this.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
it's
I just felt it, the energy of it. It's
isn't it
like it is.
wish?
Yeah.
It's such a much more beautiful than goal. Like goal is like, but
Yeah.
wish. It's like you say it and then you remember it and you repeat it because the brain needs it to be repeated. That's neuroplasticity. But you just, and then you wish, it's
Oh, Bernal, I
the
love it.
phonetics of it is so beautiful. So yeah, so yes, I would love to do that. I would love to get your insights on all of that because I don't know much about it, but what I got a glimpse at it as far as the gene keys, I was like, oh wow, I just went through something last week that kind of explained some of that. So anyway, it's easy to find me. I'm the only Brownell Landrum in the world, so it's kind of hard for me to hide. I have a YouTube channel. I'm on Facebook. I have an author page. I also have TikTok and Instagram and those kinds of things. So, and I love hearing from fans and readers. And I also have a children's book, Cosmic Wishes. So
Cosmic wishes.
it's about the three P's, like the peaceful, positive, and purposeful. And it's hopefully, like, can you imagine if we got kids to make sure that
Oh,
wishes fit that? Like, it would be really
that's
beautiful.
beautiful. Well,
So
it's been an honor to have you today. Thank you so
it's
much.
been a blessing to be here. I've just loved it. Thank
And
you.
me too. Thank you.